And we are into the first game of this semifinals, and a lot also riding on the line of drop spots. Obviously, we're looking at the map right now, but specifically for me, I want to know every single person who lands at Caddy Corner, whether they're coming through or not, because that will give us some insight onto what's going to happen tomorrow in the grand finals. We obviously see a quick fight for Bizzle, landing in the center of the map. It's Jake who he takes out off spawn, and that's an important one too. It's Chaos though, as Stav is also fighting up on top of the Misty Meadows house in a little pickaxe fight. He will be able to clean that up, but already 2 players down in quick fashion, at least that we've seen.
It's just a brawl on every single POI on the map. Every single house is just being fought for control. There's so many new ones now popping up since that water level went down. You're talking about the people at...
Yeah, and I like what he does immediately. He's able to back off and build up. There's a crash pad in play though, so that player will have 2 more of those, and also a charged shotgun, but he has a shield on his side. I'm very surprised to see Bizzle being contested off spawn in the semifinals this early. Usually this is one of the players that gets things uncontested no matter what stage of the game he's in, because he goes for innovative low-key drop spots just like this.
I mean, that's the name of open competition. You have so many new players who might not be used to facing people like Bizzle or other top tier players at this spot. There are no scrims, there is no gatekeeping. It's all about qualifying, and then popping on Bizzle is not going to be here for the rest of game 1.
Another diagonal box should be another to get another instant reverse stare, and he's completely on the defensive, and he'll get beamed again. Now this is what you're talking about. A lot of players are going to be able to take shots in situations like this, and all he's doing right now is wasting materials.
If things are getting hot, he needs to just get even hotter. Pop those chilies, start to move fast, use that speed to make some distance. He doesn't get that done, gets taken out. You need to use your resources or you will lose your life.
And that was a great fight by... And already we're getting some reports of the first game. Edgy wins one of his first games. I'd be interested to know how many eliminations he got, but that's a good start for Edgy. Sentence teammate, one of the players I called out. Maybe both of them will be dominating. Serve still trying to take shots. It almost connects through the spam, and it does, yes! Another nice snipe from Serves. Perfect shots and perfect timing, as a lot of players are pouncing directly on top as this fourth zone is starting to move, and as people are deciding, hey, I need to start taking fights as mats and materials start to run out.
And although he did gain a lot in terms of points, in terms of confidence after hitting that shot, look at what he lost. Position. He was so used to being the top dog of the lobby. He was in a top side base for so long, but now you mentioned it, Roscoe, Sourcry are already above him. There might be a third person going right over that ramp too. Yep, he's going for that base. There's always a risk and a reward when you're going for these types of eliminations, when you're trying to move to see slightly more for a few more shots.
And something that's not surprising at all for me in the semis is a 5th zone surge, but only 53 people. So it's just going to be notifications. We might see later on throughout the day a little bit more stacked where we'll get this activity. Vibes is getting into the zone, and I think every player out of all 53 right now is in.
And that's 1 game out of 10. You talk about rotations within, you got to think about the mentality outside. We talked about Edgy winning that last game, and he won this man came 60th overall. No stranger to winning, but he only had 1 win. I'm not sure if that was earlier on or later on in his games, but now he has the opportunity to just play off of that, have a more confidence, a little bit more advantage compared to everyone else. He'll be the leader for the leaderboard on NA East. Can he hold it though? And the West people bring it out heavy.
Another lobby coming in, Walkman with 7 elims. That means this lobby is most likely concluded as well. We'll get to see the end of it right now. I see Tayson in this game with the EU players, and then also Quinn, which I believe is the rich homie Quinn over on West Coast. Barely qualified in Heat 2 yesterday. I saw his tweets expressing a sensation of relief, and here we go, 5th zone. It's the rotate over this hill, and far away they've got to go. Crash pads being used and no launch pads over here, which means everybody's fending for themselves.
It's chaos in the air. People will clash. You have to fight for real estate. So many people alive. It's so different from what we saw yesterday. Very similar though to what we saw in EU. If you have a fast landing like Jaro, you get to have beams drop down. Can you make those beams eliminations though? Because having that 5-point boost is huge. Still, placement being handed out. Roscoe, we saw him near height. He gets 1 pick. And now we see these big complexes of builds being built. Decay at the top of this one. Clarity G in this game as well. I haven't heard from him in such a long time, but glad to see that he still has a say in playing in NA East and repping for the entire region.
I think it was actually very close to where Stretch and Booga ended in Heat 2 qualifying through. If I'm not mistaken, I remember thinking that as well. 6 zone reveal that's going down over towards the water of Misty Meadows, but also down the hill, maybe slightly over at the same time, but should edge around. So some interesting tactics on this rotation will be employed if people decide to go by foot. But don't forget, that shockwave launcher most likely in zone, and oh my goodness, the shots do not stop. Constant pressure on all sides, and Clarity G is one of those players who's stuck on the backside of this.
For me, the people I'm focusing on right now are Tayson. We have Moose, Sauerkraut, who was holding height and is still alive, moving around. Clarity's all the way back in zone. But the moving zones have started. People are starting to move both fast and slow, maybe not using launch pads like we saw before. Roscoe gets stopped down. Tayson is going to be one of the first people to land near that zone, start to box up and shoot out. Can he find something or really just stop the lobby from catching up? He already has 1 elimination here.
A couple good tags, and he does also stop some rotation options with breaking of that crash pad. He's got 2 more, and he will use that to complete his rotate into zone, and also a really nice layer. And only 1 box made, still 100 materials, so he should be able to at least outlast if nobody ends up pressuring him too much. On the back, on the top side, it's K-Drop, and I think I see the shockwave launcher. No, that was just a launch pad. Curious now who has that. I hear a charged shotgun on top, so it's potentially KJ Rop. Tayson, who you pointed out is one of the important players right now, is still rotating in another great crash pad ahead and still landing on mid-ground.
It's a bounce house. Every single person from second height is just using that advantage, giving it up to get some position in the zone. Tayson, though, is still holding things. K-Drop is still there. Jaro with a huge shot off the top. Everyone is somehow surviving. We might see one of those 7 zone surges come through, but Tayson is definitely the hero of this lobby. Who is that arch nemesis, the shockwave launcher, who can stop him, though?
AJ Rop does not have the shockwave launcher up on height, so potentially that's out of play. Tayson with a nice peek box down below. And also KJ got a 1 elim. Everybody getting up towards the end of this game right now. We got 17 players remaining in the 7th zone as we move into 8th. Another nice peek box from Tayson as he repositions, and there's stink bombs as well in play. Potentially a couple of eliminations. Who's throwing those? It's tagging on Zalify and Roscoe, and there's now a brawl on low ground. Many people, as well as the nades from high ground, but they don't connect.
It's perfect shots from so many people, and utility you cannot avoid. This is such a mess if you're down near low, but K-Drop is staying up top. He got beamed though by someone overtaking. Tayson still staying low-key and alive. Now everyone's starting to slow down, but down near the water, you cannot even miss a beat. Zalify, we saw him playing aggressively near the beginning, is still pushing the gas, not stopping whatsoever. I think he's out of mats possibly. Tayson's one of those people who are also out of mats, but gets a nice conversion, doesn't actually get it and picked up into his elimination count, but he has the possibility to play off that pressure. All these edits are his. Zalify actually ended up going down. At the moment, Jaro is finding someone up on height, and there's 3 people having a one-on-one near the water.
Height looks like he's out of materials too as he's edging his way forward ever so carefully. An RPG will cause every layer to come and become one. They form. Tayson, no materials. He will get 1 before getting taken out. No, didn't convert on that one either. So unfortunately, he's down and out. And I don't believe we have any names now. There's the shockwave launcher, one of the no-name players. And with 64 points, he might be able to convert on this game. A couple more rockets to shoot at Sloth. He's stuck down below in the water. Time to heal. But he's not letting him at all. The build fight is on, and he's going to go up with the tack against another tack as well. More materials for the player on height, the player with the shockwave launcher as well. Just finally lose it. Here it goes up to height, and will also maybe get it. No, the last build used to block. He breaks out quickly though, and the pressure is up. Almost gets it through. Tack on tack, 50-50, and the shockwave launcher will lose to Jules' glider gun, which didn't have an effect at all, but well done to counter in the 1v1.
Crazy last 5 minutes that we saw.
that game was just holding for just a little bit too long. I don't think anyone wanted to all in on anyone else whatsoever. Because of that, so many people ended up going down. We saw the Sphinx near the bottom as well. It was just desperation from all sides. But that's just the game. There's so many more going on right now.